Hi, welcome to Write More Light. My name is Sarah with the Midwest Writing Center. And on this web series, you can expect that once a week we will talk to someone doing something awesome in the arts, and once a week I will give you an itty bitty lesson. Today, you are fortunate to be in for an interview. We have Alisha Jeddeloh, founding fiction editor of Brink Literary Journal and editor-in-chief of Brink Books. Her work on this book, Malleable and True, builds on 20 years of editorial experience, including the Weaving Interwoven anthology series from the Bicultural Iowa Writers Fellowship at the Iowa Writers House. As an editor, she enjoys nothing more than discovering writing that makes the world new and helping it shine. That feels really accurate about you. Uh, as a writer, she explores the human desire for transcendence and the fractured narratives we tell ourselves and others in our search for it. She lives in Iowa City with her family and her dog and cat, Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger. Um, I have somehow never caught the pet names. That's amazing. Um, Thanks for hanging out with me, Alicia.
Thanks for having me.
A little more info for folks on what to expect during this video because we're doing something specific and intentional here, as opposed to not. Um, I am super excited about this book, Malleable and True, which came out, I'm assuming the date is on it, in sep last September. Is
Hmm.
that right? Okay, because this is
Yep.
925 on the sticker, but you never know.
Hmm.
Which I will talk about a little bit in a second. And because of how awesome this is, the Writing Center and Brink, um, we feel really, really strongly about this project, and we're putting together a workshop series based on it. So I'm just gonna open with how did this book come to be? I was gonna talk about Brink in general first, but let's get to it.
Sure. Well,
Or yeah,
first I
actually, if you'll talk about Brink a little bit
okay.
first, that would be great.
So Brink is an independent publisher. We publish hybrid and cross-genre literature, which is work that doesn't really fit into the usual genres. It often involves different modalities and tells stories in different ways. And we we founded Brink in 2020 as a literary journal, and our first issue came out in 2021. And we have two print editions that come out every year. And as we approached our fifth year and our 10th issue, we thought, wouldn't it be cool to mark that with an anthology of our favorite hybrid pieces from the journal? So, over the years, as we had talked to writers and readers about the journal, we had noticed that there was a lot of interest in hybrid writing and hybrid work, but also a lot of confusion, which makes sense because it's a very kind of notoriously like slippery, hard to define type of work. So what we decided to do was, along with choosing about two pieces from each of the first 10 issues of our favorite hybrid work, we asked the writers to come back with a new piece that engaged with the original. So sometimes that was a actual new piece of work that was related to the original. Sometimes it was a process essay or an interview, just a kind of a variety of different types of pieces. And then we also asked them to give us three generative prompts for creating your own hybrid work, as well as a reflection on hybridity and what that means to them and their work. Because there is no one definition that can really encompass it. It's such a broad definition, like what we have on our website, this cross-genre um, work that uses different modalities is very large. So we thought it would be helpful for readers and writers to see it almost as like a kaleidoscope or a prism, all these different angles that you can look at hybrid work through. So it was quite a project, but we are really happy with how it turned out. And I think it is becoming a really great resource for not just readers and writers, but also educators. We've heard from quite a few teachers who have started to use it in their classes. So that's the status of the anthology right now. And then once we published that last fall, we began publishing single author titles that are coming out, or we have our first one coming out this September as well. And we'll continue with that and potentially have some other anthologies in the work. But that is the genesis of Brink and Malleable and True.
Thank you so much. I have so many thoughts on a lot of things you said. I'm glad I take notes. Um, One thing that I really want to touch on is defining hybrid work. Um, I guess I'm just gonna say this. Sorry, Mom. My mom thought that I was getting two master's degrees because I said that it was a hybrid.
Oh.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's apparently a thought that people have. But I don't think it's super wrong, right? Hybrid usually means this is a combination of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, outside of the just the word in general, right? Like my hybrid car takes gas and electric power. I don't have a hybrid car. It's an example. Um, and I have, like you said, I think you did the smallest, most accurate definition you could, right? It's hi, baby. Work that written work, written work based in writing, we'll say, that does not confine to genre norms. Um, but in Brink books, well, in the Brink journals in general, I would say that that is such a small definition. I think that that has to be super broad because we don't have a healthy working definition. And I think that's what is so important and so beautiful about hybrid work is that it's disinterested in playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like obviously I stumbled there over over how to define it. And I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about hybrid literature, right? But I'm looking in, well, I'm thinking in the Malleable and True book. I'm going to be holding this up a lot, in case, I don't know, anyone is listening and not watching. I'm going to be holding this up a lot. I think it's just the second piece in here that I would say is primarily visual. Yeah, it is, I think, the second piece.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would not under any circumstance say that this is not a lyric essay, right? But it is pretty much visual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that, of course, is saying, like, what is an essay? Um, so I imagine you work so much more closely, so much more frequently with this question. Um, where do you draw draw that line? What is that line for I guess for Brink or for Alicia? Like what is the line of hybrid literature versus just hybrid art?
Mm-hmm. That is a great question. And we do have an art editor for the journal, and she's a visual artist. And
I can give a little forgiveness to I guess myself for asking that. I feel like if you asked me that, I would say you know it when you see it, right?
yeah, well, we've joked about that, that sort of famous line, you know it when you see
Hmm.
it. And I think that is very accurate. Especially if you read a lot of hybrid work, you do develop a sense for it. But it is the kind of genre or the kind of work where I think you could make a case for almost anything as being hybrid, depending on the creator's intent. Now, of course, does that translate to the reader
And does it
or
translate to quality?
hmm yeah, that's a different question. And we do sometimes get submissions that have hybrid forms, but they don't suit the
Hmm.
actual content. And it feels like it was pasted on or just sort of cut up and like the content was put into a form that doesn't really suit the content. So that's kind of an interesting twist on it as well. But I do
I
think
have had that problem. I mean, that's always like in my work personally. And folks, if you're watching this, I write pretty much exclusively hybrid work. But I have that problem all the time where I'm like, I had this great idea to use this form, and then the thing that I wrote makes no sense in that form, but I'm just married to
Mhm.
it. So I'm saying, dear all of you out there doing that, you are not alone.
And also sometimes that's a good start, and that's an early draft. And you either figure out a way to make the content match the form better, or you change the form
Yeah.
into more traditional. But I would say if you are drawn to a unique form for a piece, it's probably better for you to explore how to make the content fit the form if that's what's exciting to you, instead of saying, oh, I can't do this. This is just a normal essay. It's just a regular story. Um, so that is not a very solid definition for you about what is where I draw the line at hybrid writing. It really is kind of, you know it when you see it, but I do challenge myself to look at pieces and say, okay, how is this hybrid? Is it hybrid? Is that what the piece is trying to do? And is it succeeding?
Do you see this is not on topic. I've just had this curiosity pop up. Do you see that at the journal where you get like a really gorgeous piece, but there's nothing hybrid about it?
Yeah, we do sometimes, and if we really love it, we'll publish it, even if it's not, technically formally hybrid, which is its own way of not locking ourselves into rigid boundaries and definitions. Sometimes a piece can even have a hybrid ethos, or the topic can feel hybrid, even if the form does not. Work that comes from the margins, work that has this, it's doing something outside the norm, I think can also be part of Brink and is hybrid in its own way, even if it would not technically be considered hybrid by the standard definition.
That's amazing. I wrote that down as just like a note to self, that this is a way of not locking ourselves in, and also like a hybrid ethos, or it's outside, I guess, in the margins, outside the norms, in whatever way. I think that's really, really important and would not have occurred to me. Which is, yeah, just like for me, hearing that feels like hmm, like you're okay. I don't know. It felt very validating for me to hear.
Oh, good.
I don't necessarily feel like I have to personally stick to. I've been writing a long time. And I think I spent more time trying to stick to some norm than allow myself to the freedom outside of forms or whatever. Um, but I think sometimes we get stuck on an identity, and that can just be really, that can be just as bad no matter what it means.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Anyway, thank you for that. I feel like a better person now. Um, Quickly, so that I can transition. Can you tell me about the title, Malleable Intro? I basically want to read your editor's note. We're not going to do that. Can you tell me about the title, Malleable Intro?
Yes, well, I think it comes back to, again, trying to communicate what hybrid work is. And the title was both difficult and then not that difficult to come up with. I worked on it with our publisher, Nina Lohman, to come up with something. We knew we wanted, the subtitle was pretty easy. It's a hybrid craft anthology from Brink Literary Journal, but how we determined pretty early on that we wanted to maybe have a couple of adjectives that describe hybrid writing that are both broad and specific, if that makes sense. Again, like we're talking about with these definitions. And those were the two adjectives that we came up with. Hybrid work is malleable. It can take a lot of different forms. It's flexible. It doesn't play by the rules. And it's true in that that form helps communicate something from the writer that is honest and as accurate and as true to form as it can be.
That was a beautiful answer. So the subtitle is, I want to say it's really straightforward. But I think on its like that alone is also probably confusing. I love how much work the word hybrid is doing there.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anthology of hybrid work, but it's also a hybrid anthology. This book is doing a ton, which is what excites me as a writer, as a reader, but as somebody who's interested in education and craft. What I'm saying is I am Brink was made for me. Uh,
I'm
um,
so glad.
the I think I think hybrid work is something that at least all people, I'm going to say all people, I don't believe any of us are not artists, should engage with just to expand our understanding of ourselves, to expand our understanding of craft, to expand our understanding of art. Um, but what particularly excites me about this book, I'm getting there. I rate questions, but not segues. Uh, is that it is doing all the things that you want from art that you love, right? I just going to tell a lot of personal stories today. I transferred colleges in undergrad. I was going to an art school and I felt really not challenged. Um and one of the first classes I signed up for at the private Jesuit school that I transferred to, just really 180 there, was a grammar class. And my
Mm.
professor was just incredible. Um, I mean, the man may have understood every nuance in the world. So I came to him in his in office hours one day and I brought up a story, a short story by George Saunders. And I said, "Why am I obsessed with this?" And I had underlined in different colors. I don't know if the different colors meant something. That book is long gone. Um, and he sat there and looked at what I had highlighted, which was almost the entire story. And I can tell you it was offloading from Mrs. Schwartz. It was originally published in The New Yorker and it is anthologized or it's in his short story collection, Civil War Land in Bad Decline. I'm getting somewhere with this, I promise. I took this story to this man, um, and I said, why, like, what is this doing? Why am I obsessed with this? Like every sentence is hurting me. And he looked at what I had underlined. This was like, I came to office hours. This was not an appointment. I didn't send him this book in advance. And he told me what each sentence was doing. And
Wow.
yeah, and in a beautiful way too. Like at first he was using like really abstract language, but then he was like, no, look at the parts of speech. Here's how it's happening.
Mhm.
Um,
What a
oh
treat.
God, yeah. He retired that year. I'm kind of still mad about it. Um, which yeah, obviously changed my life. And since then, I have endeavored when I get really excited about a work to do that, to figure out like, is it the sentence that's getting me? What's going on here? And you can't like you just I am but one man. You can't just do that. But when there's a piece of art that you really love, you want to, right? This excited me. And as an artist, I want to do it. Like I want to do that to other people. I want to make art that is that impactful. See, we're getting around to it. Um, Now I didn't choose which pieces from the Brink journals were in this. Um, I didn't say, "Hey, Alicia, I really love Alyssa Washuta." That's the page it's open to right now. Um, can you pick her mind for me? Uh, but that's the thing. Brink is for me a trusted anthology. And even if it weren't, right? Even if I hated any piece in here, I know as an artist I have something to learn. And you've given me that. You've given me that professor who looked at this George Saunders story and said, "You like these sentences because, and
Mm.
here is why they're impactful." Except the artist is telling me what they did to get here. That's
Mhm.
bananas. Um, that's the dream. Like this is what I think all artists want
No.
is for their favorite artist to say, here's how I art. And we've got like master classes, like the masterclass series. Um, and we've got, lots of talk shows and YouTube and whatever. Um, but this is, first of all, not everyone's a good teacher. This is
True.
doing that for me. Someone has picked out such a broad range of incredible work. It's, already curated from jump and has done that. And that's amazing. I feel like that's such a gift. And I don't even know if I could have dreamed that up. I'm really glad you did. Um, so this, of course, is I've been obsessed with it since I heard of it. Um, and this is, this, but this is audience information. I was able to review this book, and I really, after I started, I kind of didn't want to because I wanted to sit with it. I wanted to
Mm.
take each piece like one at a time, and that's what I, recommend for people because if you're trying to read something in a month, um, I could maybe do one a day, and that's really stressful and hard work. Uh, so yeah, so what a gift, I guess, is my first thing. But my second thing is what I wanted, and I think this this idea came to me in like from a variety of elements. Um, but I thought, how cool would it be to have an accountability group where we read the piece, we do the exercise, and it's okay, baby. I have a cat here who's afraid of the storm. Um, and like that would be enough. But we have you here. You're accessible. Um, and you are willing and able to put this together where we're getting you, the editor-in-chief, the man behind the curtain, and some authors, some writers from the anthology, from Brink Books, to teach us directly. We don't have to just rely on the text and our ability to focus on it, but we can get actual instruction from them. That's amazing. Thank you. Um, can you tell me I'll just ask about you. I won't ask about other people. Can you tell me a little bit about what we can expect from your instruction?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for sharing that story about the teacher and how it relates to the anthology. It's really meaningful to me as the editor. That's what we were aiming for. Um, as a writer, I know I love process notes from authors and like learning how they wrote something, why they wrote it. And so that's what we were hoping for that would come out of it. Plus, I think the addition of the prompts that the authors give is an extra special step that we hope to become a resource for writers and teachers. So we were really excited when you brought up the idea of maybe doing a workshop based on the anthology. It is meant to be a resource that you don't read cover to cover necessarily. I mean, you're welcome to if you're reviewing it or if you just can't stop reading it, but the kind of book that you can pick up, find something you're inspired by, and then work from that. So we're really excited to do this 4-week workshop with you where we're looking at different pieces. For my session, I will be at the first class, and I'm going to give an overview of the anthology a little bit more in depth than we have here and ways to work with it, ways to approach it. It'll depend a little bit on who's in the class and how what they're bringing to the class and what they want out of it, but I would like to make sure that everybody has an access point. And then I am planning to talk about the first section in the book, which is Alyssa Washuda's Thread. It's a really accessible piece. I think it's a great entry point for writers and readers to this work. And her prompts are just really fun. So that's what I have planned so far.
Amazing. Thank you. And she's not local. And also she's a genius. If y'all haven't read her, go read her. She's got a lot of stuff online.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
that also is really, I mean, as a student, as a teacher, you've said just now something that really is really important to me, someone who believes in these things, that you're gonna see who's there. That matters so much, to everyone's experience, including the instructor. We know for sure. I'm gonna see if I can open it. No, no, my bookmarks are useless. Uh, it's just like a lot of them. I'm gonna see if I can open because we have announced that we're going to have Jesse Kramer um instructing as well. So I'm gonna see if I can hold up that piece. I know
Hers
how
starts
to
on
do.
41.
God, that was amazing. Um, okay. Course essay. This is an intro. So the first page of each section is an intro. Intro is the best I got for it.
Yeah.
Um, but you can see, if you can see, that it does not maybe look like pieces of it maybe look how you would expect. This is labeled as nonfiction. Um, but probably not. Like probably that's not what you expect to open a book to at all. But something that's really exciting about um this piece in particular, I'm really excited about this. I've met Jesse Kramer like twice, but I don't know her at all. And this in particular is really exciting to me. So this is annotated by someone else. Oh, hey, look, a bookmark fell out. Uh, with drawings. There's different colored text here. So there's this is the engage section. And then we are flipping along. I just love these illustrations so much. There we go to the generate section. So the generate section is I would have probably called it the prompt section. Generate is much, I think, more holistic a word to use. Um, and I don't know. I want to like be in depth about this and be like, here's why you should be excited about talking to Jesse Kramer. Um, so I'm gonna read a little bit from Jesse's bit. Um, it says generate, safe, quick, shape together. One, write in the shape of a dot, dot, dot. Draw a simple shape or find a shape in the world. That's the first bit. It's like a page long. I'm not reading the whole thing. Part two, rewrite quick. She gives you 27 minutes to rewrite something you've already written. I love that. It's a weird amount of time, and humans remember weird amount of times better, but obviously we're probably setting a timer. We're not just like, hmm. Um, and that's I mean, it sounds like a long time to sit still to me, but it's a really short amount of time to write a whole something. And then three, collaborate with a performer or artist. Four, find the right place, WRITE. Which the first line of that is write in a place you feel safest, but where you don't usually write. And that those are all to me, they feel both, each of these feels both generative and like it can be used as a revision tactic.
Mhm.
Tactic, what a word. Um, which is which is I don't necessarily know what I'm sitting down with. So each of these is really useful depending on where my head is. And especially because this is really, her section in particular is really holistic. It's like, write what comes. Um, which,
Mhm.
friends, we will soon be having a video on what it means when we say things like write whatever comes. And then each section also has a reflection, which asks questions, but I think is just really good for like interrogating your own um thoughts and process and biases in regard to your own writing. Um, yeah, I'm just right now I'm thinking about previewing. I'm thinking about how excited I am and how to get other people excited. Because
I'm
I think
excited
that's
for Jesse's session as well because not only is her section great and she's an amazing, delightful human being, but she did a 1 hour just brief workshop here in Iowa City that was loosely based on her section in the anthology. And it was So fun. I mean, I've worked very closely with her on her section in the book as the editor, but it was still a surprise to me what came out of it and hearing more about the genesis of the pieces and how she wrote it, just like the literal, like, you know, where she wrote it and why, and finding new ways to access difficult emotions or topics was really inspiring. So I think her class is going to be really, really fun.
I did not say this at the top, and I probably should have. Anyone who registers for this workshop will receive a copy of this book. Um, so you don't need to like go do homework first or something like that, especially because we're going to be doing the prompts in real time with the writers. Um, ugh, you must have just so much fun putting this together.
It was really, it was fun to just go back in time to our first issue and kind of review everything and see how far we've come and what cool stuff we've published. And then to be able to pick some of our favorite things to show the range of what this work can do was really exciting.
I'm gonna hold off. My cat is on my notes now, which is fun. Um, but thinking about other things that are going to be really, I'm working on it. Uh, other things
Mhm.
that I'm really excited about are not relevant at the moment. I would like to ask you if talking to someone who maybe considers themselves new to writing, I don't really know what that means. I think that we are all born generating. Um, or who has never engaged with hybrid work, what might they get out of these workshops?
I think these workshops are actually perfect for somebody who has wanted to write but hasn't known where to start or hasn't had very much experience, because it can be very intimidating to sit down and say, oh, I want to write a short story. How do I write a short story? How do I write an essay or a poem? The range of work in the anthology and the prompts to help you generate that work are so diverse, and they're so not intimidating. It feels very simple, like, oh, I can make a list. I can get out some note cards. I can think about X or Y. And it's a very gentle way of approaching writing in that way, because there's no wrong answer. There's no set form or there's no set way that you are trying to write. There's an instructor at the University of Iowa who has been teaching Brink, and she said something that was really meaningful to me, in that she had a lot of students who didn't really feel like they knew how to write, and they wondered, some of them, why even bother? Now we have AI, like it can write better than I can. I don't know how to do that.
No, I
And
can't.
I
Sorry, keep going.
agree. But when they saw the different types of forms that writing can take, and they saw that it is their unique lens and thoughts and perspective that is coming to the page, and it's not about writing with transition statements and thesis statements and X then Y then Z. It really was, it cracked open writing for them and got them excited about it. And again, I think it can feel really intimidating to do a workshop or a class, especially if you haven't done very many or any. But if I were starting out, this is the workshop that I would want to take, because it's just so, it's such a safe container for this kind of work, not just writing, hybrid writing, but any kind of writing. Because again, there's no expectations other than you bring yourself to the page and you write what feels true to you in whatever form that might take.
Thank you. That's as you were talking, actually, it occurred to me that what you're saying, that there's kind of no expectations, kind of no stakes. I don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't sound a little bit offensive. Uh, but I do believe what I'm saying. Um, like that is what is, I don't know, liberating and alluring about, I'll say hybrid work. I didn't want to say the form, like that's meaningless in this moment.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I think especially these students, but like society at large has this expectation that writing or good writing is, this thing that we were taught in school, this thing that the super privileged people of the church were doing when they were the only ones who were allowed to read and write. And
Mhm.
they set forth this tradition. Cat grabbed my pen. They set forth this tradition and this is correct. But actually, like all rules are made up. And no one has sat down with those words and had a good time, right? Like, I recently spoke with someone who recommended a book to me and said it's nonfiction, but it reads like a novel. And
Mhm.
I read a lot of nonfiction and I expect it to be well written. That's the point, right?
Mhm.
But that's nobody's expectation. They expect like the worst textbook they've ever read to be what nonfiction is, and they also expect that to be good writing because I don't know, it cost a lot of money, it's straightforward, and someone told them that what's inside that book is correct. But that isn't what good writing is. That's a rule somebody made up when they wanted to sound smart, when they were the only
Yeah.
one who was allowed to do it. Good writing is writing that feels good
Mhm.
or feels at all.
It
Um,
makes you feel something,
so it
whatever that
doesn't,
is.
yeah. So I think those stakes are erased when we take away the expectations. And when the stakes are lowered, I'm better able to exist, to move, to occupy a space because I'm not scared anymore.
Mhm.
Also, if you're like me, just in general, for people who ever sign up to anything, I am so afraid to enter any room for the first time. Um, I am planning on taking I don't know, a class, taking a thing coming up. And I'm so nervous because I'm determined to not beg someone to go with me to hold my hand to make me do it. And I am so scared. But the great news about this is I will be there to hold your hand, and to be the least scary person in every room. And promising that there are no stakes. There's no way to fail.
Yeah, I really like what you said earlier about it was almost an aside that we're born creative. We're born with this natural instinct. And I think that this anthology and these classes really help you turn off that critic, the adult mind that we develop as we get older that says, no, you can't do that, or what will people think, or you don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to walk in a room where you don't know anybody because, what are they gonna think? Um, and I think that this work and this approach is really good at bypassing or telling that part of your mind to just be quiet and getting back in touch with that creative part of yourself. Again, like when you're a kid, there's no rules to your imagination and what you can create. Like you don't know that, a narwhal is a real animal and a unicorn is like mythic. Like they both are equally real. And I think that's what is really exciting about this the book and the classes is that they can help you get back into that creative mode.
I'm, as someone who has repeatedly asked a variety of, no, thank you, a variety of people to help me have an imagination. That's really great to hear. Um, I'm gonna, baby, I'm gonna try to close us up in a nice with a nice little bow on the end, by asking maybe the hardest question, but I don't think so. I think that this is like something you have innate in you to say. Um, why is this work, hybrid writing, documenting it, publishing it, why is it important? And why should we be making it? Oh, you're muted, and I wonder if my cat did that. I am so
Oh,
sorry.
I got it. Am I back? Okay. Yeah. I find this work so important because it's so inclusive. It looks for work from everybody. Everybody has something to say. And there's a lot of people whose stories that maybe aren't from the mainstream, their stories don't fit the mainstream. And there's so much out there that deserves to be told. I think that this work makes our community stronger, not just yourself as an individual as you read and you write, but to learn about other people's experiences and to honestly, I think the hybrid work can help you experience the words. It's like an experiential form a lot of times in a way that regular traditional forms can't. And I really feel that it's our differences that make us stronger. And the more you can expand your definition of what writing is, what stories deserve to be told, and in what forms, the better our world will be. It sounds a little bit, hokey, but I really believe that.
Um, yeah, no, that was really beautiful, and I agree with you. I guess I'm glad I don't know. I didn't think of it as being hokey or cheesy or whatever until you said it. I'm like, well, you know what? Sometimes the best things are.
It's earnest. It's earnest. And
Um,
a lot of times I think the mainstream culture does not reward that earnestness, um, and that authenticity, but I think that's a flaw, and we should all be more authentic and earnest.
yeah. Yeah. Creating the art that feels natural without adding those guardrails. First, I think that it unfortunately is kind of like a brand new experience for folks, like all over the place the first time we do it, rather than just having always been doing it. Um, but I think, I mean, I'm just emphasizing what you said. I think that it opens us up when we allow ourselves to do that. It opens us up in every single way,
Mm.
like in the world, but as artists too.
Totally. Totally.
Um, I know I said that that was going to be it, but is there anything I missed? Is there anything you're particularly excited about with this workshop series? Anything you want folks to know?
Um, I would just really encourage anybody who is even a little bit curious to check out our website, the book page, even our Instagram account to get an idea of what hybrid work you can that we publish and we might be talking about, and read a little bit more about it if you're not sure. I really think that it's accessible. It's the most accessible form of writing. And I think it's going to be super fun. And I hope everyone will join us.
I'm really happy you said it's so accessible because I think that the way that we're trained a lot of the time, we just like raise our eyebrow at the concept of something different being accessible, but I think you're right on the money there.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
I am going to now give details on this workshop. Um, we have four, I don't have the information in front of me. Let's see if I know it off the top of my head. Uh, we have four dates. This is a four-part workshop. A limited number of scholarships are available to folks with financial need, and we'll be meeting right at the Midwest Writing Center on Saturdays from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. on September. Nope, I really thought it was going to pop up at the perfect time. Um, September 19th,
Mhm.
and then all of the following Saturdays. Hold on, I do have the information, friends. I am so sorry. Okay. I'm ready now. September 19th, September 26th, October 3rd, and October 10th. The Midwest Reading Center is located in the downtown branch of the Rock Island Public Library. We're on the ground floor. Um, and the workshop is $125 for MWC members and $175 for non-members. And to reiterate, that comes with a copy of the anthology, Malleable and True. And I think if you do the math on that, that is very affordable for 4 classes with um, professionals with the coolest text you have ever worked with. Um, you can register for that workshop on our website, mwcqc.org. You can send us a message on really any platform. Um, if you have questions. And of course, you can always email mwc@mwcqc.org, including for if you have questions about scholarships. We also have a form to fill out right on the website for that. Bios for some of the instructors are available on the website. Um, yeah, all the details are there. Thank you so much, Alicia, for making this book happen, making Brink Books happen, and for hanging out with me, and for making the workshop happen, and for hanging out with me today to nerd out about it. Folks out there, I'm going to give you a prompt to do at home, to do wherever you are right now, whenever you have 5 or 10 minutes. Set yourself a little timer, and write whatever comes. I will say I think of this more as sort of a journaling prompt. Um, so for that prompt, um, write or think about, reflect about some story that is missing. Thanks as always, and please write more light into your life.